A late-night vote in the Senate brings the federal government one step closer to raising the debt ceiling and avoid defaulting on its loans. The House is planning to return to Washington Tuesday to do its part and send the bill to President Biden. But it is just a temporary measure that simply kicks the can down the road. CBS News' Debra Alfarone reports from Capitol Hill.
On this vote, the yeas are 50, the nays are 48.
The Senate voted to temporarily raise the debt limit, avoiding a financial disaster.
On Monday morning, I said we needed to pass a bill to address the debt limit by the end of the week, and that is exactly what we did.
Republicans had been blocking the bill, but Minority Leader Mitch McConnell struck a deal with Democrats, allowing them to get the 60 votes needed to break the filibuster.
I understand why Republican leadership blinked, but I wish they hadn't. I wish they hadn't, because I believe we were on the verge of victory.
Instead, it was Democrats claiming victory in the standoff.
Senate Republicans finally realized that their obstruction was not going to work. I very much thank my Democratic colleagues for showing our unity in solving this Republican-manufactured crisis.
Majority Leader Schumer's victorious floor speech may have come at a price. It not only angered Republicans, but it also angered a Democratic senator who is key to passing the president's agenda.
West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin looked on in frustration as Leader Schumer spoke on the Senate floor, later telling reporters it was inappropriate.
Both sides, I'm just saying, it's just the civility is gone, okay, and I'm not going to be part of getting rid of it. I'm going to try to bring it back, and I speak out when I see someone do something I don't like.
Democrats need Manchin in order to pass the president's multi-trillion-dollar social spending bill. Debra Alfarone, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Nikole Killion joins me now from Capitol Hill with the latest. Hi, Nikole. So despite both sides reaching a deal, the partisan fighting and intra-party disagreements certainly remain. Why did the Senate opt for a temporary extension through December instead of a long-term solution?
Well, they basically didn't have much of a choice. I mean, the bottom line is that Republicans' position isn't changing that much. I mean, for the most part, they still feel that Democrats are the ones who should deal with the debt limit. Again, they remain concerned about this massive package that Democrats are trying to pass in terms of this social infrastructure bill that could cost several $1 trillion. So, the arguments are still the same. What they do agree on is they don't want to see the economy go off a cliff. So that's why you saw kind of this short-term proposal, agreement, compromise, if you will, that, as everybody has said by now, kind of kicks the can down the road. And basically what Republicans are saying is, look, we're going to give you a little more time to try to figure this out, but at the end of the day, you have to figure it out. And so that was one of Democrats' arguments earlier as we were approaching this initial standoff, is that they said, we don't have time to put this in reconciliation. It's going to take too long, yada, yada. And so as a result, they had to kind of embrace this short-term fix, because obviously it kind of settles the markets for now, keeps the economy in good standing, but these issues are still unresolved, and Republicans are continuing to put the onus on Democrats to figure it out.
And so, Nikole, how did Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell manage to get 10 other Republicans to help him reach this temporary extension? I mean, we heard that some Republicans were not happy about it. And then once you're there, why not just vote yes on the final bill? What exactly is it that Republicans are hoping to achieve in December that they couldn't achieve now?
Well, again, this was a tough pill to swallow for, most of the senators involved, but particularly Republicans who, really held as a block up until the final minutes of this compromise in terms of, really, again, putting that responsibility on Democrats to try to raise or suspend the debt ceiling. And so, in terms of Leader McConnell coming up with this compromise along with Leader Schumer, for some Republicans, they simply felt that the leader was, in fact, caving. You heard Senator Ted Cruz say last night that he did feel that Leader McConnell blinked, and he felt that you should ultimately have tried to force Democrats more into a corner on this. But at the end of the day, it's likely that the leader calculated that that might have been too much of a risky move, along with some of these other Republicans who ultimately went along with the vote last night.
And then, of course, Nikole, the House still needs to pass it, and President Biden needs to sign it. But how does the temporary extension impact Democrats and their efforts to pass the infrastructure and social programs legislation? Does that mean that they can now move their entire focus in that direction?
Well, yes and no. I mean, it obviously just kind of complicates things, and it just sets up more deadlines that we'll be reporting on as to whether or not they're met or missed. But, you know, by the end of this month, Democrats hope to have everything more or less wrapped up as far as not only the massive reconciliation package, but also that smaller infrastructure bill. Because remember, the House was supposed to vote on that late last month, and they actually had to push that off because they didn't have agreement on that broader reconciliation package. So that's basically the discussion that's going on right now, both in the House and in the Senate. And as you know, there's been a lot of deliberations, particularly on that top line number for the larger social spending or reconciliation package. You know, initially it was $3.5 trillion, but, you know, we've heard the gamut of figures from people like Senator Manchin, who want it down as far as 1.5, to, you know, the president, who's floated somewhere around to $2 trillion, and, you know, even some progressives now saying they may have to shave a little bit off of that 3.5, maybe to $3 trillion. So the number is all over the place. And again, you know, it's about trying to fine tune that bill before the end of the month so that they can try to clear both pieces of legislation. But after that, that just sets up more deadlines as far as trying to deal with the debt limit, trying to deal with the government spending, because again, government's only going to be funded through the end of the year. So really a lot to resolve between now and the end of the year.
More deadlines, more extensions. It feels like we're back in college.
we know
Nikole
this
Killion
well,
on Capitol Hill.
We're journalists, right? We're in the deadline
That's
game
right.
too, so, you know.
Absolutely.
It is what it is, as they say.
We get it. All right. Thank you so much.